The show was done in 1983, and it had kind of a rocky road to Broadway. I remember because I was actually performing in New York at the time, and I remember the show was in Boston, and New York gets all the scuttlebutt from all the shows that are out of town, and the show was in major trouble out there. It had originally started out being a kind of a remake of the Gershwin show Funny Face, and that was later made into a movie with Audrey Hepburn. And they had so many problems with it out of town, and the director was fired from the piece, and then they brought in Mike Nichols, they brought in Jerome Robbins, they brought in Michael Bennett, they brought in Bob Fosse. I mean, they brought in everybody and their Aunt Betty to come and fix this thing. And finally, Tommy Tune, who was starring in it along with Twiggy, they let Tune take it over, and he just took over the whole show. And they rewrote the book, and they changed it. Funny Face, it was really loosely based on Funny Face to begin with. And I guess the book, the original book was quite dated. So Peter Stone came in and wrote yet another script for it when they were in Boston. And then they came into New York, and they got a couple of extra songs that were not originally in Funny Face from the Gershwin estate to put into it. I mean, it's just chock full of great Gershwin tunes. And opened in New York right before the Tonys, and it got seven or eight Tony nominations that year and won 3. And it's kind of an unknown little piece. Nobody knows My One and Only. It kind of happened there. It ran in New York for almost 2 years and went on quite a long tour. But after the tour ended, it kind of just slipped into obscurity, which is kind of sad. Crazy for You came along, which is kind of a hybrid, same kind of thing. But My One and Only just kind of slipped away. I choreographed the show about right after it had opened in a summer stock version of it, 20 some odd years ago, I guess, and fell in love with the piece. And oddly enough, the first show that I ever choreographed up here at Stratford was Camelot, and I'd worked in Cynthia Dale was playing Guinevere in it. And as soon as it was done, I turned to my associate Joe Bauer and went, one of these days I want to do My One and Only for her, because I think she'll be just spectacular in it. And I'm getting to do it. The story it's a lighthearted story because it takes place in 1927, and therefore it's just a 1927 romp. Okay, it doesn't pretend to be anything other than boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl. So in that, the story is rather simplistic in its approach, but the piece itself goes all over the place. I mean, we're in New York, we're in Staten Island, we're in Morocco. We're all over the place in it, and it's great fun in how you get to all these different places. It's not Pinter. It doesn't pretend to be Pinter or Shakespeare.